これは Embracing Digital This Week のアーキテクチャディープダイブです。ここでは見出しを超えてデジタルトランスフォーメーションを形作るアーキテクチャパターンを掘り下げていきます。今回のエピソードではストラテジックドメインにおける分散型ケイパビリティリセットに焦点を当て、それが人工知能とサイバーセキュリティの両分野にどのようなストレスを生み出しているのかを取り上げます。私はダレン博士です。では分析に入りましょう。What we're seeing now is a shift in how leaders think. AI, edge, security, and transformation are no longer separate plans. They are being treated as one distributed capability. For government leaders, the focus should stay clear. It is not about counting functions. It is about what gets decided, what gets funded, and how success is measured. In some environments, AI for factories and vehicles cannot reach production. That means the original design assumptions have to change. In others, edge sites do not work without a central foundation. Deployment alone is not enough. And in automotive data management or added-on security, trust can disappear fast. The real test of transformation is not adoption numbers. It is whether work itself can be done differently. From here, the conversation is about aligning distributed capabilities. The goal is one operating model built to hold them together. Under this pressure, the shape of the week becomes clear. AI is moving closer to factories and vehicles. Edge computing cannot grow without a central foundation. And security is no longer something you can add later. At the same time, the human side is changing fast. AI adoption is reorganizing work. It is also changing roles. The enterprise-level result is clear. When AI, edge, and security are approved separately, investment slows. Risk gets pushed back to individual teams. This is not a feature problem. It is a decision problem. From an architecture view, decision rights are redrawing the boundaries of distributed capabilities. How much can the field decide? Where does headquarters take control? When that line is unclear, shared foundations suffer. Design time security suffers too. So does the pace of updates. For your team, this is about more than local speed. Deployment order, accountability, and review points have to connect as one flow. You might think this is just a tooling issue. It is really a governance and operating cadence issue. AI value is being measured by how work changes, not by adoption counts. That is why leaders should focus less on adding technology. They should focus on bringing distributed capabilities back into one operating model. Speed without decision rights becomes fragmentation. This is an organizational problem. Strategic domain determines what leaders decide, fund, and measure. It sets the rules for scale. And that is the point. First, leaders need to reset decision rights across AI, edge, and security. A plant can move quickly on a pilot, but it still needs enterprise approval for architecture, risk, and rollout. That is why momentum breaks. Every site starts improvising its own model. Second, leaders need a shared investment logic. An edge node without core storage or connectivity becomes a stranded bet. A robotics program that ignores power, cost, and reliability will lose support too. Third, leaders need to define success through business adaptation. A workforce redesign can matter more than deployment counts, and a security review done too late cannot protect a connected vehicle or factory system. Put simply, this is not mainly a tooling issue. It is a leadership choice. It is about where the enterprise places authority, capital, and accountability. You can see the reset across the pillars. In edge computing, weak core alignment creates fragmented sites. In artificial intelligence, models must work inside operations, not only in labs. In cybersecurity, protection must be designed in from the start. In digital transformation, work must change, not just software. When this domain fails, mission impact spreads fast. Compliance weakens, investment slows, accountability splits across teams. Use this domain to restore one operating model. Otherwise, distributed capability resets turn into permanent drift. AI is making this shift even more visible. This week, AI moved beyond the lab. It is entering factories, vehicles, and daily operations. At the same time, new inference chips are arriving. They use less power. They also cost less. In one site, a warehouse sorting AI worked during the day, then it stalled at night. Not because the model failed, because wireless latency did. So this is not just a performance issue, it is a question of placement and accountability. You might see it as a pure technology problem. It is really a decision architecture problem. If it is left unresolved, approval breaks first. Teams can test it in the field, but they get stuck at production sign-off. Then ownership breaks next. Development, operations, and risk move in different directions. For your team, that looks like this. The system is built, but deployment never accelerates. Strategically, investment decisions split over where AI should go. Organizationally, roles and skills do not shift fast enough. At the process level, workflow redesign moves too slowly. Physically, power, latency, and reliability become hard limits. Digitally, the link between models and business data stays weak. Many teams optimize model accuracy, but the real constraint is whether it can run in the field. If placement decisions are not settled first, governance becomes reactive, and scaling stops before value can spread. There is one stabilizing mechanism: decision rights. Define who decides AI placement, approval, and production launch. Without that, distributed capability does not become results. It becomes fragments. The first clear signal is cybersecurity pressure. This week, we saw movement to share AI internals with European cyber authorities. At the same time, connected cars brought data collection into the privacy spotlight. And even as critical sectors mature, the gaps between them remain. In one example, a connected vehicle rollout looked ready. Then privacy concerns slowed the deployment. That was not just a technical failure. The approval path broke first. Then product, security, and operations responsibilities split apart. You might see this as a pure technology problem. It is not. It is a decision architecture problem with hardware exposure. For your team, that means one thing. Everything works, but production launch stalls. Strategically, risk tolerance becomes unclear. Organizationally, accountability spreads across departments. In process terms, post-design reviews keep multiplying. Physically, vehicle and embedded device boundaries expand. Digitally, data collection and control become tightly linked. Many teams optimize for broader defense coverage. The real constraint is governance at the design stage. If security ownership is not fixed early, risk review fails before rollout can scale. The stabilizing mechanism is simple. Control objectives. Define the evidence, exceptions, and approval criteria first. Without that, distributed capability does not enable safe growth. It enables stalled growth. You can already see the pressure to converge at the edge. This week, momentum grew around one design. A design that connects distributed compute resources together. At the same time, we saw a warning. Low latency in-vehicle processing fails early when storage and connectivity are weak. In one case, the team introduced vehicle processing first, but the infrastructure outside the site could not keep pace, so the production rollout stalled. You might see that as a pure technology problem. It is not. It is a decision architecture problem. If it is left unresolved, approval breaks first, then accountability breaks next. The release may move forward, but progress stops when no one owns the shared backbone. Strategically, investment decisions split over where compute should live. Organizationally, site, platform, and operations roles begin to overlap. In process terms, exceptions and rollback paths multiply. Physically, latency, line quality, and power headroom set the limit. Digitally, configuration differences grow across locations. For your team, that creates a familiar pattern. Sites move fast, but the enterprise moves slowly. Many teams optimize for local autonomy, but the real constraint is simple. Edge systems do not succeed on their own. If shared backbone ownership is not decided, rollout fails. and it fails before distributed capability can create value. There is one stabilizing mechanism: a reference architecture. Without it, distributed capability becomes fragmentation, not scale. If you pull the themes together, the same gap stands out clearly. This week's AI sharing, vehicle privacy, and distributed computing shifts are not about missing technology. They are about misplaced judgment. The anti-pattern is control without ownership. Control grows first, but decision rights, exception handling, and accountability never fully settle. In one article, AI oversight arrived too late. In another, privacy concerns stalled vehicle deployment. In another, shared infrastructure never aligned and edge adoption got stuck. The symptoms look different, but the broken design is the same. The trade-off is clear. Autonomy creates speed. Consistency creates trust. To pursue both, you cannot let each local team optimize alone. You need to align, first, who decides what. In your programs, this is where momentum either compounds or stalls. Across your portfolio, more pilots without more production is not a capability problem. It is a split in decision rights. Leadership should treat AI placement, shared platform ownership, and security design requirements as one connected line. Architects should stabilize decision rights first, not after deployment, before it. Now is the time to act. This week is about reorganizing distributed capabilities. The first step is deciding where authority belongs. For you, this is not a delay in one project. It is an executive decision to sustain transformation momentum. First, choose one path. Centralize investment decisions for shared backbone systems, or leave each site to build its own stack. Centralization aligns rollout speed and reference architectures. Leaving it local creates drift. Then, site-level optimization slows enterprise-wide adoption. Next, choose your operating model. Keep exception handling inside a limited standard path, or allow each team to use temporary workarounds. A standard path keeps operations predictable and oversight possible. Workarounds increase rework. They also blur accountability boundaries. Then, decide how you define launch readiness. Use operational readiness to approve production, or count proof of concept success as progress. Operational readiness keeps AI and edge value inside the business. Chasing pilot success alone raises numbers, but it can still stall real transformation. For your team, when these three choices align, distribution becomes scale. When they do not, distribution becomes fragmentation. We land this gently. This week's reset in distributed capability was not about scaling technology. It was about shifting decision-making into the right places. Architects set decision rights, boundaries, and alignment before scale. That matters most when approvals stall and adoption never moves forward. For your next steering meeting, agree first on who decides what. Also decide where exceptions must stop. That clarity keeps transformation moving. Next week, we will keep looking at how to make that discipline work. これで今週の Architectural Deep Dive は終わりです。このエピソードを楽しんでいただけたなら、お気に入りのプラットフォームや YouTube でぜひ5つ星をお願いします。そしてさらに深く学びたい方は Patreon で私たちのコミュニティに参加してください。Embracing Digital を探してみてください。次回まで私はダレン博士です。これからも難しい問いを投げかけ続け、デジタル革命を受け入れていきましょう。